Hello there, welcome to Chief Update 0.4, and say hello to Bonquiki here. So in the last update, I mentioned that I'm currently working on bringing back three features that I had in the prototype of this game that I kind of broke over time, and I definitely want in the final version of this game. So I'm currently working on bringing those three features back, and then from there I'm going to kind of build up from there and try to not break those, and build it into a complete game eventually. So last video, the main focus was follower AI. So I fixed that and got that working, and got that working again. This video, the main focus is going to be terrain manipulation. So as you can see, the terrain looks a lot different than the last video. And then the next video, or at some point in the future, because I think I wanted to focus on gameplay a bit before multiplayer. Um, you know, multiplayer will come afterwards. Um, So in this video, I wanted to cover the new the train system. So in the original prototype of the game, I had voxel terrain, but it was just cubes, and I didn't like the look of that. I don't like the look of the cubes. It's not really pleasant, and it's like really noisy, and it's just not the greatest looking. And I want the game to look a little bit more pleasant than that. So that's where I switched to Unity's height map terrain. And I did like the look of that, but the issue with that is that with height-map terrain, you can't get, caves and overhangs and stuff and like a lot more interesting terrain features. It's just kind of slopes, which isn't the most interesting. So I definitely wanted like the manipulation aspect like of voxel terrain, but then with the pleasant look of height-map terrain. So I did some research around that, and I found this algorithm called marching cubes, and essentially it generates a smoother mesh around voxel data. So it doesn't necessarily need to be cubes. And this smooth look comes from an offshoot of that. It's interpolated marching cubes, so it's a little bit smoother than marching cubes. It doesn't have any kind of terraces or anything like that. It has like smooth slopes, which is nice. So I implemented that, and that took up most of the time because getting the manipulation of it and everything working, and getting things working right, kind of just took a lot of time. So it's really the main focus of this update. So you'll see if I get the shovel tool, I can actually, whoops, I right click there a little bit. It's a little teaser. But yeah, if I get the shovel tool, I can actually dig into this, and you'll see I'm digging inside of it. So there's an overhang, and this is something that you wouldn't be able to do with height map terrain, because height map terrain, it's essentially a two-dimensional grid, and then each point on that two-dimensional grid has a height value. So this XY coordinate could either have 0 height or 1 height, but it can't have multiple heights. So this kind of overhang is demonstrating that's like voxel terrain. And so the shovel, I can dig, and every time I dig, it gives me land item, and then I can place land anywhere I want and create things and do stuff like that if I want to. And the shovel has a secondary action where I can hold right click, and it's kind of like patting down the land is my idea with the shovel, and it flattens the land. So if the land is nearly flat, it'll flatten it, but you'll see if I get closer to this slope here where it's like a lot more vertical, it stops flattening. And in that case, if I wanted to extend it more that way, I'd have to actually remove material here. Whoop. And let me just add a thing of land, and then get the shovel, flatten around here, and I extended the flat area here. And I can kind of go in here. Whoop. But yeah, it's pretty fast too to be able to manipulate terrain. And then I can go into this cave and flatten all this. Flatten this area out here. And also with item placement, I added colliders for when you're placing items. So let's see, let's get like a furnace, for example. So you can no longer, place it on, sloped land. You have to place it on flat land. And in the future, I'm going to make it so that like it will automatically just flatten the land below it, so you don't have to like go to a shovel, smooth it out, and then go here and then place it. You'll be able to just place it and it'll flatten it for you, because I think it's just dumb to have to go back and forth between the shovel. But yeah, so like before, I was able to place items, inside of each other, but now you'll see it shows in red saying like, hey, you can't place it inside each other, you have to place it next to each other. But yeah, that was mainly it. The new terrain system with flattening and then objects colliding with each other and being placed on flat terrain. And then saving loading, so I can leave this, press escape, and then I can go back in, spawn, and I'm back here. But yeah, in the future, I'm going to be adding more complex terrain generation, because right now this is kind of just like simple prelim noise. It's going to get more complicated. It's going to generate trees and stuff, because right now he has no trees to cut down or anything like that. I kind of moved everything to here for now, so I can place stuff manually. But in the future, this will be part of the actual terrain generation. And yeah. Oh. See, I gotta flatten this so I have space for the well. There you go. Drink some water. Drink. There you go. But yeah, so new terrain system and more things in the future. Thanks for watching.